You want to start the show?
Sure. All right, welcome to episode 218 of Linux Lugcast. We are an open podcast /lug that meets at 9 p.m. Eastern every first and third Friday of the month using Mumble. We encourage anyone listening to join us and participate on the podcast. Check out linuxlugcast.com for the server details. If you have any questions, comments, or topics that you to discuss and are unable to join us live during the show, you can send us an email at feedback@linuxlugcast.com. You can submit things to our subreddit, link in the show notes. We have a MUI page, which we should probably just take that out because I don't think even mordancy is checking that anymore. Plus, we have a Matrix room where you can join the conversation. Again, the link is in the show notes.
The theme has been Stable Diffusion on the Matrix room.
Yeah, it has.
Past week or so.
We got to share some of those. Let's see. We have a YouTube channel where you can watch us and a PeerTube channel where you can watch the exact same thing. I am your host this evening, Honky Magoo. With us tonight is Joe.
Yep, I'm here.
Lovecraft.
Good evening.
Minnix.
Joe is eating, it looks like cat turd or something. What are you eating,
Yeah, that's
Joe?
what it was.
Oh, chocolate. Okay. I'm here.
Mordancy.
He's gone.
He ran away.
Aw.
I
And
can see his
mine.
ceiling.
Mordancy.
That's you.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
What you did, Mordancy? How come we don't have your full and undivided attention?
I went downstairs to grab some liquid death and bubble tea.
Oh, that's okay. Good enough. Big Red?
What is it? You keep on. It keeps
Zero
on bringing it
sugar.
up. Big Red, zero sugar.
How's that?
Tastes like Big Red, but not quite as intense.
Mm.
And of course, Netminer.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So we want to jump straight into the movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So the movie we watched this time was Cyberjack from 1995.
AKA Virtual Assassin.
Yeah, I watched it as Virtual Assassin.
AKA Die Hard, the crappy version.
Also, there's
Sort of.
They do a lot for almost like shot for shot, too.
Before we get started, there's
really-
another movie. Hang on, before we get started, there's another movie called Cyberjack from 1994 starring guess who?
Who?
Don the Dragon Wilson.
Yes. Yes. No, but there was a lot of also
Friend of the
similarities with like RoboCop.
All right. Does somebody want to give a quick synopsis of this movie before
No,
we start tearing it apart?
yet. Because there was also a lot of similarities with American Ninja.
See, I haven't seen American Ninja. At least in a long time.
And Sneakers. And Blade
Sneakers.
Runner.
All right. First, I can get the other ones. Explain Sneakers.
There is some software that's hidden away that you have to find, or that someone has to find, and take somewhere else, and then it has to be stopped. Otherwise, this software will allow them to take over the world.
Skynet's in it too.
Skynet is specifically in it.
Yep.
And they had something that looked like the RoboCop head with the light that went across. Granted, it was a drone, but they had that. And then they basically had the girl from one of the Conan movies with the armor.
Oh yeah, the black chick. She was awesome.
Oh yeah, the breastplate. Yeah,
Yes.
and the Rasta dude.
Yes.
Yeah. The Rasta dude with the horrible accent.
Jamaican
like,
accent.
really bad accent.
But you have to have a Rasta dude in your gang if your movie is made in the mid-90s. That's the only...
But you had to have
but they didn't have the Asian guy.
They did have the Asian guy, but
But he
was on
wasn't
the other
in the
side.
gang. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh.
was the doctor. He was one of the doctors.
I thought
He's
one of the
actually
gang
a
members
fairly
should always be the
famous-
Asian guy.
No, he's actually a fairly famous actor. I just can't remember his name right this second.
Don the Dragon Wilson.
No, it wasn't Don the Dragon Wilson. God.
Friend of the show.
Was the Asian guy in iZombie too? He looked really
He was
familiar.
he's
I
been
think
in
so.
much, like a lot. And I only watched the first couple of seasons of iZombie, but yeah, that guy has been in almost everything. I swear.
Well, before we let me
Terminator. They referenced Terminator, and I got a very Clockwork Orange feeling from the whole thing.
That one you're going to explain too. Because you
It
put that
had
in
to
Matrix,
do-
and I'm still trying to figure that out.
It had to do with
Clockwork
the
Orange.
almost albino people that were torturing people.
What? What
Okay,
albino people?
The really
The boss
crazy him and his one friend that was extremely scrawny and blonde and
the one
super
that couldn't
duper
feel
white.
pain.
All right.
Yes, the one that couldn't feel pain and basically went around and torturing and killing people.
Well, hang on a second. Let me explain this movie to people that are listening first, because they're just hearing a bunch of gibberish.
Ooh,
So-
good luck.
It
Is actually correct gibberish, though.
It starts out. There's a cop and his partner, and they're chasing down a criminal in this train yard or something.
RoboCop.
And he catches a guy, and the guy's got his partner hostage, and instead of taking the shot and killing the bad guy, he puts his gun down, and the lady tells him, no, he's going to kill us both anyway. Which we'll come back to this, because I don't know how he came back to life, but so the guy ends up killing the woman and killing him, apparently, shoot him right in the head, in the face. And so now, later on, it shows him he's working as a janitor. He's a drunk. He's way in debt from betting on what is the name of that baseball team that he loves? The Neptunes.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
The Neptunes. He's obsessed with this baseball team to the point where he carries a radio throughout the whole movie to listen to him while he's shooting the bad guys.
Yeah,
Well, that's because he has money on the game.
Yeah. So he's
And he owes bookies.
reduced to working as a janitor at this cybertech firm, and this firm has invented this virus that's made with a computer chip that is part biological DNA or something, or is the virus I don't know.
The virus is part biological.
But anyway, supposedly the virus is supposed to be able to go into a system and do what? Tell you how to protect the system, or seal any vulnerabilities.
It's supposed to attack. Yeah, it's supposed to basically attack it from the inside and then just seal all the vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So basically, it does a pen test and then just fixes all the problems.
Right. It's like
except for the fact that it doesn't actually do that.
It's
just
an antivirus virus, apparently.
Right, but it apparently doesn't fix anything. It breaks things, and in the middle of a little while after the demonstration, it takes down a plane.
Yeah, so there's a random
because
element they can't tame in the virus.
It escaped over the phone line. Because a guy was talking to his girlfriend, and she worked at the airport.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Anyway, so this guy works there, and this company is trying to sell this virus to this Japanese businessman, but there's a man and his daughter that work as the lead computer scientist developing this virus, and the daughter speaks up and says, "Well, hang on, when it works, it's good, but I guess when it doesn't work, there's something wrong with it we haven't fixed yet." The Japanese man becomes suspicious, and the leaders of the corporation kind of lead him away to distract him and stuff, and they get in an argument, and after that is when the virus escapes through the telephone. One of the Asian doctor guy is talking to a woman that works for transportation, and I guess they're kind of girlfriend or boyfriend or lovers or something. And he's asking her what she's wearing and stuff, and the virus goes through the telephone and exits her telephone and gets into the transportation system and messes up and this is in the future, so they have like flying taxis and flying cars and stuff. It messes up this flying taxi and kills 40-something people, and so they know that there's still something wrong with it. Well,
1 second. I just want to appreciate the fact, people to appreciate the fact that all of the computer scientists have to walk around wearing lab coats,
that's what they
looking
do
like
in the real
chemists
world.
or surgeons.
That's how
Right.
you know they're scientists.
Looking like they're
Those
working in a lab.
Those are the computer programmers.
I can tell you that it's exactly how computer programmers work.
That's
It's
right.
not any computer program. It's a biological computer program, so you have to wear a lab coat.
Do you wear a lab coat when you go to work?
I'm not a programmer. I'm support, but I do see those guys in lab coats walk by.
Oh, all right. They're the special ones that walk around with their lab coats, little pocket protectors with their name on it and stuff.
So, meanwhile, there's a bad guy that gets word about this virus that's really How does he hear about it? Because it took down the plane?
The internet.
Yes.
He has been reading about it on the internet.
On the internet, yes. The internet figures heavily in this movie. And so
Except they call it the interwebs.
No, they don't.
Did he say the internet? No, he said the internet.
So he gets his posse together, and they go to the lab, and lo and behold, the bad guy is the same guy that early in the film shot the cop's partner and killed him too.
And this is where the Blade Runner comes in, because he's also he was one of the cyborgs from Blade Runner.
Yeah, he was
Leon.
the bleached blonde-haired cyborg or android in Blade Runner too. So
they take over Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah. Oh, and how they do it is they dress up as a floor cleaning crew and say that they're there to clean the building, and that the security guard says, well, I don't recognize you, but we have a cleaning that's supposed to be done, so I guess you guys are it, and just lets them in, and they need to go to like the 4th floor or something. He says, well, there's no carpet on the 4th floor. Oh, go ahead.
Don't you mean the 3rd floor? Yeah. But then after that, when they kill him, you got to tell them what they do after they kill him.
So they kill him, and they leave him on the floor, and then they leave, and then one of the guys, so now the door is open so the rest of the gang can get in, and then one of the guys is a cowboy that's a computer genius, and he goes to the helm of the central command of the building and creates a hologram of the security guard that's sitting in the chair, so it looks like the security guard is still there. Is that what you were talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, so
I thought the hologram was extremely important right there.
So
the cowboy guy has chaps too, so we don't
yeah,
have to look
he
that.
has
Yes,
chaps
I
and
thought
a
that was
hat.
Blue
fantastic.
jeans, cowboy hat,
A
and
vest.
chaps.
And so they all go up to the lab where the virus is. Meanwhile,
You also
the janitor.
forgot something else pretty important there,
What?
because this is where the body armor shows up.
Well, I thought the important part was that our intrepid hero was hiding out from his bookie in the
that's coming
one of
next.
the rooms.
Because that's coming next, because we do need to talk about the gratuitous nudity.
What
Oh,
body
yeah,
armor?
the random weird little thing that he was watching.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
The-
I don't know what you're talking about. Body armor. What are you talking about?
The black chick that takes off her clothes and has basically had armor grafted to her boobs.
Oh yeah. Well, they have some weird characters in his gang, and one of them has a breastplate, and that's all she's wearing, but it's like made out of chrome or something. And another guy has bleached blonde hair, and he talks later in the movie about how he got cut on his face through some kind of procedure, and he couldn't feel pain anymore. So there's a whole group of misfits, and they go up to the lab, and they tell the scientists, hey, you better give us that virus. Meanwhile, the ex-cop, who is now the janitor, is hiding out in this room and watching a hologram of a belly dancer that's stripping while he has his headphones on, so he can't hear anything that's going on. He doesn't know the building has been taken over and stuff like that. And the belly dancer is like stripping and stuff, and then there's some kind of glitch where I forgot what happens, but
She started over.
I know
Power
she
goes
started
out,
over,
wasn't
but why? Oh, is it a power surge or something?
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
cut off communications or something, and it caused
Yeah.
some kind of glitch.
So it starts over, so he gets mad and just leaves, and the bad guy, the main bad guy in the gang, are trying to get the virus from the old man
Daddy
and his
Dearest.
daughter. Yeah. So to just kind of skip forward real quick, they get the virus. This other stuff happens. It goes into the man, main bad guy. Hang on, Joe. I just want to finish this. It goes to the main bad guy, and then I don't want to spoil the ending for everybody, but hilarity ensues after that. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, you missed a
I-
little bit there.
I missed the whole movie. I just wanted to get that. I'm tired of talking about this movie. I just want to get that out of the way.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
make all your
Mr.
comments.
Nakatomi.
Yeah, because they put a lock on the virus, and it's going to self-destruct, and so they kill Daddy Dearest, and daughter has to go in and fix it, and that provides the impetus for your main character to go and save everybody and kill all the bad guys, and he does one at a time.
In the meantime, he's listening to the radio the whole time while his life is in danger and while he's killing bad guys, not even listening to what's going on around him, just so he can hear this baseball game that's playing because he's such a huge baseball fan.
No,
Right.
because he has so much money on it, and
Or
he
he's
owes them
gambling
bookies
on it.
that showed up at his house and tried to kill him.
Right, that too. Now, Lovecraft pointed out that the device they used to hack the computer, what did you say it looked like?
It looked like one of those 80s era like handheld spelling assistants.
I
A
thought
company
it
called
looked like
Franklin made one. But on the flip top, you could see the instructions on how to use the actual device. And it had two purple buttons on it. And I know I've seen something like that in real life. I was trying to Google and find a picture for it, but I couldn't find an exact match.
I thought it was either a translator or a dictionary, because they were making those in that time frame,
Yeah,
like the Japanese English translator or whatever.
It could have been something like that. I know Franklin made like something called the Spelling Ace, and I think Seiko might have made some other similar ones. But yeah, that was totally cheesy looking, but it was it definitely
Heck.
resonated with me.
It might have been a calculator for all I know.
It looked like it had too many buttons for calculator. It was kind of hard to see, and I watched it on Tubi, so it wasn't the greatest picture. But
Yeah, 720p.
yeah, it was definitely interesting. That whole rig was pretty cool.
That's probably about the best copy you're going to get. I looked online to see if I could find a better copy, and I couldn't. They were all 720 or lower standard definition. And so, but, you know, I doubt this film ever got a Blu-ray release or anything like that. Maybe in the future, after its cult following catches on, they'll finally remaster it for Blu-ray. But there's some interesting ideas in this movie. The virus being biological was kind of interesting.
And I did like the drone that they had.
Yeah, the police drone, which
Yeah.
that brings me to, before they send the police in, they all have them link up with some kind of device on their neck. Now I thought
The
this
huge
was,
puck.
yeah, I thought this was just to kind of like take the place of an earpiece to tell them where to go and stuff. I didn't know it took over their actual brain.
Well, it was to sync them up.
But what
so
does that mean?
They all knew, so that they all knew what they were doing, so that they were linked up like mentally, so each one mental link to each other to know what that each one is doing, like working with one mind. And that screwed them over when the virus got loose in that guy, and he just said, "I own you now, bitches."
Yeah, so the bad guy takes over these cops that have these links on them and uses them to fight back against the other cops and start shooting all the cops because he controls their minds now. Which
Now,
seems like a terrible idea to add these devices that can be hacked to your cops' necks. Why would you do that?
Well, who knew beforehand that they would have a virus that could jump
before
around
this
like
virus,
this
they
over
couldn't be hacked.
phones and just like out of a dude's eyes? I'm pretty sure they weren't thinking about viruses that can jump out of people's eyes.
But
when
the
they had this in
RoboCop
mind.
thing actually happened right here, because they had the whole scene where they did the flashback again, where the guy got shot in the head, like
Yeah,
the
but
main character, where he supposedly got shot in the head, and that's why the bad guy thought that the guy was dead. And then they could quickly transition to the drone, which had the visor from the RoboCop.
I want to know what happened to the main guy. he was dead, supposedly. He got shot in the head. He has no scars, no trauma. So was they trying to say
Well,
that
he just lost his brain, and evidently he didn't need that to survive.
but was he actually an android himself now, or is that what they were trying to say, or what?
Yes.
Was it Hero Robotrix?
Yeah.
That would make sense. That would.
Because they never went into that or explained that, you know?
Nope. But yeah, severe alcoholic. He got kicked off the police force, and the police decided that he was the bad guy because he showed up on the drone and then tried to kill him.
And I guess he wasn't on the manifest of employees that were there or something. Because they had said earlier that they had checked and everybody was there in the room with them, the gang.
And every time you listen to the Neptunes play, if they were doing well, he was doing well. If they were doing poorly, he was doing poorly.
I didn't catch that. See how smart this director is to make a movie like this with these little nuances?
The problem wasn't the nuances with this movie. It was the fact that there was so many, and it was just such an amalgamation that it wasn't anything cohesive.
That and crappy budget and crappy dialogue.
So let's say that
it had the American Ninja.
It could reach.
You expected dialogue?
It was reaching farther than it could actually grasp, I guess. But it did have some cool ideas that were tech related. And do you think there will ever be a time where you can transfer your mind into a computer, your consciousness, like the bad guy did?
It seems likely. And that was the Lawnmower Man moment. I couldn't decide if it was more Virtuosity or Lawnmower Man.
Virtuosity was a character that came out of a game.
Right, but at the end, when he went back the visual of the mind from Virtuosity was basically the image that you were seeing there at the end where the guy had gone into the computer with the virus.
Is that on our list?
Virtuosity? Probably not, because we've all seen it.
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen it?
Then you can put it on the list.
Okay, I'll add it.
It's one of my favorite movies.
I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah, I'll add it.
Which is why I was debating. Just that visual really, really reminded me of Virtuosity, but it would have had to have been Virtuosity that got it from that movie. But no, Lawnmower Man, the whole idea was a guy getting smarter and putting himself into a computer, so that could have also worked right there.
What was that one with Johnny Depp where he put his consciousness into a computer?
Johnny Depp.
I think it was Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Was it Keanu Reeves?
No.
John Leguizamo?
Are you just throwing out names now?
No.
He is. Randomly.
Virtual Man?
He was probably thinking Johnny Mnemonic, which...
Johnny Mnemonic, yeah.
He did put himself into his head. He had to hack his own brain.
Was it Virtual Man? Transcendence.
Okay.
It made perfect sense when he was hacking his own brain with the help of a dolphin.
Yes, it most certainly did.
Perfect sense.
Perfect sense. Because he had loaded up way too much information into the hard drive that was inside of his brain that he had to transport.
His data doubler wasn't doubler enough.
Right.
What are some other moments from this film? So he had some kind of port in the back of his neck, the bad guy did, right? Where they inserted the...
I don't know if he actually had a port, or if they just stuck it on his skin, or what.
He put a port in the back of his neck, and then he can attach the computer up to the back of his neck.
Because that's how that works.
That's how that works.
Well, I bet they'll have something like that in the future too, you know.
Probably.
What do they call that? The
Cyberjack.
No.
Brain transference?
No, they have a word for a whole group of hackers that are into that kind of stuff, that combining technology with the body.
Transhumanism? Or
transhumanism, that's what it is, yeah. transhumanist stuff.
Now you gotta love the scene where the two cops show up to try to give donuts to the security guard who was dead.
Go ahead. I'm going to get to what bothered me about that scene after you say your stuff. I don't want to keep running over people.
It was just
I'm sorry
funny.
about that.
No, go ahead. I mean, I was just going to maybe describe the scene where the two other cops come pulling up. They're talking to the security guard, and
There's
then
the hologram of the dead
the
security.
hologram of the dead security guard, and the guy running the booth, the guy with a cowboy hat and chaps, was controlling the hologram, saying that his wife thought he was getting fat or something, that he shouldn't have any sweets. And then the two cops look at each other and go, "He doesn't have a wife." And then the perimeter shield and gun start going off and kill the first guy, and then explode the vehicle of that the guy was next to, and he got all burnt up. And
yeah, two things.
Go ahead.
Two things.
The very die-hard moment too. So
yes, I was expecting a body to get thrown out of a window to land on that car.
But he couldn't open the window. If they could have gotten that window open, right?
That's what I was expecting, because that would have been the perfect Die Hard moment right there.
Or he was able to shoot up the car.
Yeah, and then the major thing that actually bothered me about the scene was the fact that the janitor, the main guy, was listening to this on the radio.
Right.
Like on his handheld radio, CB.
Yeah.
And didn't say shit to these cops.
Right.
Well, he tried. Didn't he try to yell out the window?
No, he did not.
He was trying to yell
out the window with a radio in his hand, the one he was using to communicate with people.
Oh, it wasn't a two-way radio? I mean, it wasn't a one-way radio?
No. It was the same radio that he was using to contact the scientist chick.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So many great moments like that throughout this movie.
Whole movie. Yeah. And he got shot, but his flask protected him.
Well, he got shot in the arm, like right near the beginning, which did not affect him at all.
At all.
Yeah, just for a little bit. Then he just shook it off.
Like landing on his arm later on caused him more problems than the bullet in his other arm.
Right. Escapes down to the basement where he grabs his tools and then climbs into the ducts.
And this is the future. Yeah, he does. He climbs through the ducts. And this is the future, but he steals a cop car. And then he calls the cops and tells them that he's chasing a stolen cop car, and they can't, turn it off remotely.
You gotta like the fact that they have the lights for the cop car on the back fin of it, as opposed to the top of the car.
Yep.
It's because it's the future.
And I really didn't see any futuristic guns. I mean, the Rasta character had a rifle with a drum, and that was the most futuristic weapon you saw there.
Well, the only thing that seemed to be even remotely futuristic was the flying bus.
Oh, what did they think about the CGI?
That was quality.
Mm-hmm.
CGI was pretty good. Stop motion as well.
Beautiful.
Awesome. But no, right there at the end, the worst thing, after he knocks out the cop and the other cop says, "Welcome back," like he was just going to have his job on the force back. Just like
that.
Yeah.
Right. When he asked him, hey rookie or whatever, I thought he was going to ask him, what do you mean? What do you mean, welcome back? Nope. Instead, he asked about the score of the game.
And so he no longer owed his bookie because he won money.
And he's got a new girlfriend, the scientist girl.
Yep. And she likes talking about baseball. Yeah,
she's a big baseball nerd too. Which all computer scientists are hot models. That's always
hot models and lab coats.
That's been my experience.
Yeah, that love baseball as well.
Right.
So I thought this movie was very entertaining. I can't say it was Oscar quality or anything, but it was definitely worth the watch, especially if your interests align with ours. I think you'll enjoy it.
I can't definitely say that the movie was good, but it was definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
Exactly. I cannot call this a good movie, but if you sit down and watch it to have a laugh, you will enjoy it.
And try to
Yes.
pick out all the movies it references
All
too.
the references, there's so many in there throughout
Yeah.
the
So
whole
many.
thing.
So many.
Some of them are subtle, and then some of them are not.
Hmm.
The Die Hard ones were really, really not
The
even close.
RoboCop ones definitely were not subtle.
Terminator.
Yes,
No,
the second
yeah,
you saw it,
yeah.
they threw Skynet on there. Come on.
Hmm.
Just the word Skynet, like literally
Right.
Skynet.
Right.
So I give this a thumbs up.
Give
Sure,
it a
it was
thumbs up, too.
entertaining.
Yep.
What about Mordancy? We haven't heard from him.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you. You can just do thumbs up or down.
Nope. And Honky, I can't believe you haven't seen American Ninja.
Don't know what to tell you.
That you're going to watch it immediately after the show.
After the show, I'm going to sleep.
Hmm.
You
Well,
work tomorrow?
I bet
Yes.
Mordancy gives it a thumbs up.
Watch it at work.
Watch it. How exactly would I do that?
You have a phone.
Yeah, but I'm never gonna sit. I never sit still long enough to be able to watch anything.
Fix that.
Okay. All right. So now we got to pick the next movie.
I
Yeah.
added some to the list. Not a lot, but a couple. I'm going to work on adding the biggest crap burgers I can find.
Oh, I need to add Virtuosity on there because I haven't seen it. Virtuosity.
It might be. No, I don't see it on the
What
list.
year is that?
I don't think Johnny Mnemonic's on the list either.
Now that main guy, well, not the main guy, but the main bad guy, I guess.
Did it a lot.
His name is well, I think I put his name in the Matrix.
Brian James.
No, the Breon.
Breon, yeah.
Breon James. Yeah, that's right. He's in at least the first movie of the series of movies I put on the list called Nemesis. Nemesis 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I noticed that he's in the first one, according to IMDb. But he's in a lot of movies, like we saw Blade Runner, and I looked at his IMDb, he's in like 200 movies. He died in 99. I think he had cancer or something. But
54.
yeah, he wasn't that old.
Tango and Cash, that's what I really remember him from.
If you see him, you'll recognize him as a big character actor. He's been in a million movies, but anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. As far as the next movie, I don't have a way to pick it really.
What happened to the script?
It was on my NextCloud when my NextCloud crashed, and I didn't. Oh no, not on my NextCloud. It was on my laptop when I installed Kinoite on there, and I didn't think I needed any files in my documents folder. It was. I'll write another one this weekend. It's not, but I want to pull from the actual list instead of having to save the list to my desktop every time. So I'll write a better one. But in the meantime, is there anything that you guys are dying to see? Lovecraft or Mordancy or Joe or Honky?
Nothing that comes to mind.
You want to go for maybe a bigger budget this time?
Sure.
Real genius.
Change it up a little bit.
Or just make it Virtuosity since we've been talking about it.
We could do Virtuosity. What do y'all think about Virtuosity?
Sure.
With that.
I really like
I
the
like
movie.
that movie.
I'm good with it.
What year is it?
95?
95. Okay. I'll write it on the list. 1995. So next show's movie is Virtuosity. And this one gets 5 stars. It's another 5-star movie. Another
Really good movie.
another mark of excellence. Where is it? Cyberjacker, right? Or Cybertracker. Is it not on here? Oh, there's Cyberjack, not Cyberjacker. Cyberjack. Okay. Oop. All right. Oh, you want me to, what I teased about in the pre-show, an unboxing? We can't hear you, Honky.
I'm sorry, you probably have to take off the background so we can actually see
Yeah.
properly.
Let me do the background here.
Because there are points where you just kind of disappear and all we see is a helicopter.
That probably doesn't look good on the recording. I need to get a green screen and put it behind me.
Oh, I gotta get all fancy.
Yeah. You know, we're turning it into a real production here, so. Which, by the way, we have to discuss some other stuff. Okay, so here is what I got. It's called an omelette pan. It's a new piece of technology I bought from Big Lots. I've always wanted one. So I'm going to unbox it on the show. And what if you're watching the show now, or if you're listening, you better go to the video and see what this is. So an omelet pan has a it's a pan that folds in half like this. So it's got 2 sections and it goes on one burner, and you can either put, it has a handle that you have to screw on right here, and you can put either some egg in both sides and then put your ingredients in there and then let it cook for a while and then flip it over to make your omelet so you don't get a messy omelet. Or you can make like a frittata where you put your egg in here on one side and then you cook some vegetables and some ham and cheese, or put some ham and peppers and onions, and then you flip it over into your frittata and then let it steam like that. So there you go, my new omelet pan. What do you guys think about that? $9.99
5
at
stars.
Big
The height
Lots.
of technology, a technological marvel.
It is technology. So there we go. That was a big surprise. I got this omelet pan from Big Lots. What do y'all think about that? It was only $10.
That's cool. I'm gonna rush out and not get one.
Does anybody here have an omelet pan? I bet you don't. If you're listening and you have an omelet pan, email the show and tell us about your experience, and maybe you have some recipes you want to share with me too. And leave a comment on the video too. That would be great. We haven't got any comments on our video cast.
No.
If anybody watches them, leave some comments.
Nobody watches the video cast. Nobody wants to see that mustache.
Talk about Joe's ugly gray beard. You can talk about my awesome mustache. You can talk about whatever you want to. And but let us know you're listening. Because we see the stats, and we get hundreds of thousands of downloads every month. So
Billions.
What's that face, Honky? But anyway.
Yeah.
Both downloads.
Yeah. So, real quick, I wanted to bring this up. I've been talking to Lovecraft, who contacted. Is it okay to talk about this, Lovecraft?
Oh yeah, sure.
Contacted OLF, his friend at OLF, and they have a tentative date for September of this year for OLF 2023. I asked mordancy, and he said he won't be going on vacation until at least October, right? I think that's what you said in the Matrix chat.
Correct.
Yeah. So you said you might be down to go, right? If work doesn't get in the way, or
I can't.
not you, mordancy.
I don't care about my job.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Actually, I'll take it as training and get paid.
Too. I need to talk my work into sending me to Ohio. But I plan on going, carving some time out in September. And Taj, in the Matrix chat today, mentioned it as well. And he said that hopefully he doesn't mind me reading his message because it was very informative. He said that regarding OLF, he said him and Lyle usually try to go to OLF each year. Last couple they didn't make it, but in the past they let them set up a podcaster booth. And it says usually as soon as they decide on a date, Lyle and him figure out if they can go. He said he's totally good going if the dates work out. But he said we did an HPR PodNuts random thing before. He said maybe we can borrow the free culture podcast stuff they did at FOSDEM. And if we go this year and set up a booth, what do y'all think about that? Would y'all be interested in representing the Lugcast or the free podcast thing at OLF?
Well, you might have to wait for Joe to come back. He just stuck the headphones on me and he said he'd be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, he said he can't go, but I think Lovecraft, you said you could probably go.
Yeah, if it's September, that probably wouldn't be a problem. I mean, if it's December either, I mean, they said they don't have anything set in stone yet, so
right.
We'll see what happens.
We don't have an exact date, but Mordancy, he said he doesn't care about his job. And then maybe Taj and Lau will be there. You will probably be busy, right, Hunky? But we could take a road trip and pick up Netminer and bring him with us. You want to go, Netminer?
I think he's muted.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so I thought that would be fun to do. To have a little table or a booth set up, and I can get a banner from work for the table. And we had talked about maybe getting some stickers or some swag printed or something like that. And t-shirts maybe even. So that would be fun. Does that sound like a good idea?
I think stickers would be cool.
Okay, cool. Well, let's say this is going in a positive upward direction for now until we get dates that are certain for OLF. So I want to tell all my fans out there that you can meet me in Ohio.
Your OnlyFans?
Not my OnlyFans. That's a different show I do, and it's not suitable for Linux users. But this one is. You can meet me there, and I will sign your jockstrap or anything else you want signed, and I'll even show you my mustache. How do you like that? Anyway, I thought that sounded fun. Extracurricular activity, maybe meet some people, and since COVID, I haven't gotten to anything like that, So I'd like to kind of get out and travel for something Linux related. I think that'd be fun. Honky will be crashing a wedding in September. People he doesn't know. And,
September? No, I'm crashing a wedding in. I'll be crashing one not this weekend, but next weekend, and then I'll be crashing another one in Dallas in June.
Oh, really? You'll be in Dallas in June?
Yep.
When in June?
Yeah, you need to let Joe know, because we're like 20 minutes if traffic is good from downtown Dallas.
Don't tell
An hour and
Joe.
a half if it's not.
You just tell me. Don't tell Joe. He
I
doesn't
want to say it's
respect
the beginning of
mustache.
June.
Oh yeah.
I don't have
Barbie.
the dates. I know it was around my anniversary, which is June 5th. So
It's my birthday, June 5th.
yeah,
June-
cool.
So you'll be here for the LGBTQ plus Pride Month celebration. The beginning of June 1st.
Honky's going to be here in June?
Mm-hmm. For a wedding.
He's going to your house, right?
Yeah. I'm getting married to Buster.
To your boyfriend.
Me and Buster.
He said I could sleep on his couch.
The
Mhm.
one guy that likes that mustache.
No, you're the only guy that doesn't like it. And yeah, you need to hook up with this man.
I'll see.
You bringing the wife and kids?
Wifey asked kids no. It is supposed to be a kid-free wedding, so we are taking advantage of that.
Very nice.
What to eat?
Alligator stir fry.
Really?
Yep, I made myself some alligator stir fry.
What's alligator stir fried?
It's stir fry with alligator in it.
Well, there you go.
Where'd you get the alligator from?
Walmart.
Really? They sell it? Is it fresh? You bring it home and kill it?
Yeah.
It's live.
I made
Pick one out
the
of the
kids
tank.
wrestle it first, though.
Wrestle the gator, boy. Get in there.
It's in the tank next to the lobsters. You gotta pick your own. It's got a little rubber band around its mouth.
Tons of power to close, no power to open.
So, you say Dallas. Where? Dallas is big.
Nah, not sure offhand. I'd have to look at the invitation.
Probably like Arlington or something. Rest in Peaches?
Is
Rest
that
in
the tea?
It is. I just finished a Grim Leafer. And then I also have an Armless Palmer for later.
Is that a lemonade and tea?
It is. How'd you guess?
Luck of the Irish.
So, any projects you guys been working on?
I got those video port to DBI, so I'm starting up the graphic design workstation.
Is that on the HP? Elite Desk?
The
Or...
Yep.
Oh, nice.
They throw the cables away at work.
Really?
Nobody uses the port. All the docking stations have HDMI.
Yeah.
Oh, I redesigned and reprinted my foot pedal for the USB switcher.
For the mute button?
No, just a USB switcher.
Hmm.
So it goes back and forth between my work laptop and my desktop. I had to make the hinge a little bit heftier, and it worked out. It's worked out a lot better with the bigger hinge and the larger holes for the hinge. And then I also designed something else really simple, which is Just this little piece, which fits in my chair.
Just so you know, we can, because of the background, we can hardly see it.
It's a
Well,
cup holder,
let
right?
me yeah.
Slash ashtray.
Well, I don't smoke, so not an ashtray. Let me see if I can turn the. I'm gonna turn the background off. Background none. There you go. All right, so.
They didn't take the background off.
Oh, okay. I have to hit apply. Okay.
Okay. So you
So
have your cup holder,
yeah,
and then there's the hole, which you have an adapter for a smaller hole.
yeah. Well, on the other side, it's what holds my table on my chair.
Okay.
I'd show it to you, but the camera's attached to it.
So it's like a pin to hold the thing in?
Yeah. So I redesigned it so that I could put this in it.
Okay. So it's a mount for
Which
that.
is, yeah, my articulated arm for my mic, which I'm not using today.
Oh, that's very cool.
And
now, did you drill the hole, or was the hole already in it?
No, I 3D designed the hole and printed it.
He means in
You
the
mean
chair.
this hole? No.
The hole, yeah.
This hole is originally a part of the chair. Let me see if I can find, because there's the adapter that went in that the table. There's actually a couple of different things that can slide into it, like a wine holder and a little mini table and something else. I don't know. Remember?
Like you can eat in the chair on a little table.
Yeah. Well.
Or put your laptop on there.
Yeah. There's the little table, and it just rotates. And here, food. And there's the hinge that it sits on, but I'm not going to take it off because I have things on my table. So yeah, I'm redesigning that, and I'm also planning on. I have another 3D design specifically for that slot. That I'm going to just be putting a 1/4-inch bolt into the hole that I leave there on the design that I make, so that way I can put a phone mount on it.
Cool.
And then just swap between the two as needed. Now the one that was there before, I had modified to hold a 3/4-inch bolt, but it's a little bit heavier and it's a little bit harder to pop in and out, which is why I want to design another one that will slide in there more easily, so I can go back and forth without any issues. Oh, and all of the I don't remember if I talked about it on last show or not. I know I talked about it on Mintcast, but the base station that I made for this, where I had decided not to use the one side because I kept burning out the adapters. I found out that the adapters weren't burning out. The USB-C hubs were not burning out. My power supply, the Pine Power, was burning out.
Really?
It was just taking a little bit of time to completely burn out. I've had it for a couple of years now since I got the Pine Sill. I'm not complaining. I don't think it was meant to be used as heavily as I used it, so I have no complaints about that. I just had to find something else to power it, and it worked fine. So I'm gonna have to redesign again and put it back the way it was, at least to some extent, and have the adapter on the one side because I want the larger HDMI, because the micro HDMI that's on the side, one, micro HDMI sucks and breaks real easy, and two, it just doesn't get enough power to be able to keep a TV running for any period of time. It will cut in and out, but it won't do that if I use the USB-C hub powered.
So you found a new power supply for your...
Yeah, the Dell 65-watt power supplies actually work really well.
Okay. No issues once you change the power supply, huh? That's weird. I never would have thought it would have been that.
It stopped powering at all from the USB-C slot, It won't do 15 watts. Or not 15 watts. It won't do 15 volts. But it will do 20 volts if I power it all the way down, have it hooked up to my one battery pack that takes an input of 20 volts, and then turn it back on. But it just can't get through the 15 volts to the 20 volts, and it can't do 15 volts. So I think I just burned it out using it so much on my little laptop here, which takes 15 volts. So maybe in the future I'll be able to take it apart and find whatever power distribution chip, or whatever it is that burnt out, and see if I can try and replace it. But that's a pretty high skill level, and I don't know if I can do it. It'll be fun to try. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Mordancy, what kind of graphic design are you doing? I don't think he has his headphones in.
I can't find my headphone.
Oh.
I have a drawing screen, so I'm going to start doing scalable vector graphics and raster images. Hopefully, or just completely give up the whole t-shirt and sticker idea.
You can't do that. We're depending on you.
I mean, as my own personal business, I've found companies that do the die-cut stickers at a reasonable price and direct-to-garment printing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. About 13 cents a piece for stickers. About $5 a piece on t-shirts.
Well, that's cheap. We'll use our Patreon funds to buy all the t-shirts and the stickers.
By Patreon, you mean, once again, OnlyFan?
I set up a secret Patreon fan site with lots of pictures of Joe on there working out. Somehow it's in the negative. I don't even know how that happens, but
It went into the negative after you started posting with that mustache.
yeah, the
that
mustache.
face rat.
You're obsessed with my mustache.
I am, and you getting rid of it.
I think you test too much.
He wants to touch it, but I'm not gonna let you. Ha ha ha.
With a
Yes, you
shotgun.
will. So what have you been up to?
I did an episode of HPR, How I Left Google. I put the link in the show notes. I installed Fedora 38 Kinoite on my laptop, which is really easy upgrade, and because everything is separated from the OS, it's just an OS upgrade, and then everything else just works. It's pretty cool. The only thing I had a problem with was Matrix this week, which y'all probably didn't notice it, but it went down for a little while because they didn't the sources, the key that's in the sources.list expired April 15th, and I didn't know that, and so I went to update Matrix, and I kept getting all these Debian apt errors because it's on a Debian server. I was like, what the heck? And so I did all this research, and I finally found a one little thing on GitHub that you need to update the key, and then you can pull down from the Matrix sources for Synapse for the server. But I'm wondering how many people know that are running their own Matrix servers when they go to update. What happened is the Element app on my phone quit working, and I was like, "What the heck?" And that's what it was. Element was looking for the new key for Matrix and couldn't find it. So I tried to update Matrix, couldn't update Matrix, and had to update the key in sources, and did that, and then everything worked just fine. So. Other than that, just doing some aquarium stuff, and excited to use my new omelette pan. Oh, no, Honky's gone. I was going to ask him. He said he was going to put the pre-show on HBR too. I wonder if he ever did that for our last episode. Maybe it's in the calendar here. Let's see. Calendar page. Yeah. It's so you guys that are listening now, if you want to hear the pre-show, which didn't get published on the regular podcasts for last week's show, or the last show we did, episode 216, on April 26th, the Linux Lugcast pre-show ramblings will be on Hacker Public Radio. You can listen to it. So I know you're all
behind
excited.
the paywall.
Yeah, behind the Patreon. You can pay the $5 and you get all these secret episodes. But you have to go to Hacker Public Radio to listen to them. They host them for us for some weird reason. All our Patreon content is on HPR. Can't think of anything else new.
I had fun printing with Pet G. My filament dryer works real well.
Did you get it dialed in?
It was doing okay, and then I was trying to do some finer work stuff, and it just didn't want to come out right. And then I was having trouble with a couple of rolls of Pet G because they were too moist because, I live in Dallas. But the filament dryer helped a lot. And then I think I need to change out the nozzle. A little clogged, causing some issues here and there.
What did you end up printing with Pet G?
A lot of stuff.
I like Pet
I don't
G
even
a
remember.
lot.
Hold on. I think I have a list here. Let me see. I don't mind Pet G. I mean, I had reprinted some of my standard to Olympic adapters. I had 3D printed a Roku remote holder. And some cable management in my bedroom. And oh gosh, what was it? Design. Oh yeah. I had tried printing the foot pedal in Pet G, but it was too brittle to get the support material removed. The actual print itself broke before the support material did. So that didn't work out real well. I still got plenty of it, but the problem is it's the translucent Pet G, and translucent Pet G tends to cause clogs. But I dried that one out pretty good before I started using it, so I did get a couple of decent prints out of it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I've printed with Pet G before. I do sometimes like printing with Pet G, but if you need something that is like really, really precisely measured, then Pet G requires a bit more work because it tends to shrink.
Yeah, problems with shrinkage.
Yeah.
I hear they got a little blue pill for that.
Do they?
Yeah.
A little blue pill to make the Pet G not shrink?
Yes. Your pet G will not shrink.
No, I just when I was reprinting out the foot pedal, that's when I switched back to the play. But it had had a chance to dry out after using it in the filament dryer for a while. And then I did it in the clear, and then I tried printing. I had problems with the clear that was stringing already, so I put that in there, and it had to be dried quite a lot. So I switched back to the black, which I had taken out of the dryer, and used that to like print. I'm planning on reprinting some of the little mini drawers that I make, little mini just for bolts and stuff, because Jackie was looking at them. Oh, well, yeah, I had printed this in PetG as well. PetG, and this is just for like a pair of glasses for me to be able to put them on the side of my nightstand upstairs, because the cats like to go on top of my nightstand and knock everything off of it. So I had printed a holder for my phone on the side, which just allows me to slot it right on the side, and then I want to put this there, but I'm afraid that the cats will try and use it as a springboard. So I don't know. I think I might print out one that is like vertical, but then I have to cover the inside with felt or something in order to not scratch up my glasses.
Oh, how's the Mintcast doing?
Doing good.
Last time you were looking for ideas.
Yeah, well, we were also looking for new hosts.
Oh.
And Mintcast is a bit more of a production than this high quality show.
Whatever.
No, it's a bit more work. We have fun here. It's a bit more work over at Mintcast. So we did get 2 people that had joined, but then one of them couldn't make it on Sunday because he had a family emergency come up. So we just had Majid on the show, and basically it was an interview with him. I thought it went really well. He meshes really well with the team. He has a lot to talk about. He's actually an anesthesiologist in somewhere in the EU. But like I said, fun to talk to, really knowledgeable, and likes Linux. So
who is on the who is on the Mintcast now?
well, it's still me, Moss, Bill, and now Majid, and I think a guy called Chris will be joining. And
this
then
is the new host?
Yeah, and Majid and Chris are the new hosts, but we'll see how Chris works out. If Chris is going to be here on the next show, then it will be another interview show with him, and just going over his past, and give him an opportunity to figure out if he needs any more equipment, or if he needs to adjust how he talks or anything like that, and how well he fits with the group. And it'll be fun. Or I think we'll also have to pick a backup topic, but I have no idea what we will pick. Well, Twitter is a really fun topic in most cases anyway, but most of your technical people are tired of talking about Twitter.
What about Blue Sky?
What about Blue Sky?
That's the new decentralized Twitter from the creator of Twitter.
I hadn't heard anything about it, but I haven't been paying attention to the news. I've basically been working from 6 to 7 every day, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Fun.
I noticed none of us got an invite to host a Mintcast with you.
It was a wide open invite. If you want to be on Mintcast, I will put you on Mintcast. If you want to be on Mintcast now, I will put you on Mintcast. You want to be on Mintcast? You're invited.
I don't. What if I don't want to be on Midcast? What if I just want to complain
you're
about not being invited
the
on
mustache
Midcast?
isn't.
Well, that's very racist, and I won't stand for that.
Honky, do you want to be on Midcast, Honky?
I don't have the time to be on Midcast. I'm sorry.
Lovecraft, do you want to be on Midcast?
Sundays are real bad for me. There's a lot too much going on.
Mordancy, do you want to be on Midcast?
I don't use Mint.
You don't have to use Mint to be on Mintcast. Half of our guys don't use Mint. Can't hear you anymore. Nope. Still can't hear you.
He just says no. Can I bring my omelet pan to Mintcast?
Yes, you can. In your biweekly wanderings, you can bring your omelet pan
Awesome.
and your cat. My cat joins the show all the time.
Buster
when I podcast from inside.
And the omelet pan.
If you want to, you can be on the show tomorrow.
No, I'm going to Earth Day Festival. Who's that? Oh, it's Mordancy's girlfriend. Hello.
Hello.
I think Netminer would be perfect for Midcast.
I think so too.
Netminer, you want to be on Midcast?
That's a yes.
He's got to unmute first.
He has to hear me. Can't hear me.
No.
Cherry Hill Tony, you could be on Midcast.
Yeah.
Opie the Repeater Bot, do you want to be on Midcast?
He has work to do.
Repeating things.
Mm-hmm.
What about Lugbot?
Lugbot is not. He's being recharged right now. I outfitted him with a new battery pack so he can walk around without being plugged in.
You know, Ash. I want Ash to be on. Ash from the Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem like an open source kind of guy, but he does like free stuff.
I think Alex Jones would be a great addition to the Midcast. It would definitely expand your audience to a new, demographic, and really pump up those numbers. I don't hear a yes or no.
It would make for an interesting conversation. I'd be fine with an interview show with him, but I don't think he'd make it past the first episode.
Cherry Hill Tony says he's usually here.
He's usually here, but Mintcast doesn't record from here.
Hmm. What about the subreddit? Anything you want to talk about on there?
Probably. That'll be the rest of the show.
There's a new link from Nomad Scry from Matrix. You see that one?
Oh, yeah.
New research shows sexual arousal leads to a greater willingness to get intimate with robots. How does that make you feel?
That sexual arousal leads to the willingness to be intimate with robots? Isn't that just the horny people want to screw something?
Yeah.
I think everybody
just
needs
saying
a
it
sex
a different
bot.
way. That's not really groundbreaking that horny people want to screw something.
Now,
and they really don't care what it is.
What if you have you come home one day and your wife has either a Joe or a honky robot sitting there and introduces you to her new companion, and says, I
Honky,
don't
what are you going to do if your wife has a Joe bot? Other than the Joe bot.
That says,
I got an axe. I have a katana. I have a baseball bat.
You're going to chase everybody else away from the Joe bot so you can
That's
have
right.
your special alone time with a Joe
That's
bot?
right. No one is going near it. All right.
Joe bot is there,
and then I'm gonna shave off the beard and glue it to its face and call it Danny.
You put it on a piece of tape. That way you can move it back and forth. That way, when you're ready for the Danny, when you're ready for the Joe.
Yeah, it's
right.
Reversible. Now, would you have any objection to that? If there's a Joe bot in your house, and your wife said, "Honky, we're not going to spend as much time together anymore. I've got a new hobby here."
Look, when the toys start interfering with the actual sex life, there's a problem. That's when you get rid of the toys.
But then you have more time to do stuff, Honky. You can do more 3D printing and all those projects you wanted to work on.
Honky's going to agree
right, because that's my problem.
He wants to spend more time.
Is that what's been holding me up from all these projects?
You can stay later at work because Joe Bob will take care of things at the house.
That's what he wants to do.
That's exactly.
Be a good employee.
Sure.
I think that's a great idea.
Everybody needs a Joe bot.
I think that's the basic gist of the article. What Honky said, though, if you're horny, you're more willing to have sex with whatever has a hole in it and is sitting around the house.
The Neanderthals.
Mm-hmm. Participants completed a 2-part 60-minute survey online. In the first part of the survey, participants filled out measures on demographics and willingness to engage intimately with both people and robots. 1 week after this, participants were asked to complete part 2, where they viewed a 10-minute long video of people engaging in sexual activity and completed measures on sexual arousal and willingness to erotically engage with people and robots.
So they recorded people watching porn?
They didn't record them watching porn. They just made them watch porn and then answered the second part of the survey. And they were more likely to be willing to have sex with the robot while they were experiencing higher levels of sexual arousal.
Who conducted this test? Because this seems pretty obvious what the answer would be. And then somebody's like, "This is great research."
Japan.
It's the Journal of Sex Research is what it's called.
Let's make these people watch porn and then ask them if they want to put their penis in something.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be women. Oh, here's a breakdown on the genders. Compared to women, men reported higher levels of willingness in regard to having sex with robots and engaging in an intimate relationship with a robot both pre and post viewing the explicit video. But there were no significant gender differences in likeliness of falling in love with or being friends with the robot. So men don't care about friendship or love. They just want to have sex with these robots.
Look, I'm not gonna buy. I'm not gonna buy.
Or...
Look, I'm not gonna buy the pocket vagina dinner first, okay?
You don't want to have a conversation about what's been going on at work and
kills
all that
the whole
stuff?
point.
No, that's a whole different study.
Well, I'm sure this is all new news to you.
Breaking new ground there.
Yeah, so I'm glad it was posted so we could discuss it.
It gave content for a good 10 minutes there.
And the robot runs on Linux too. How about that? I just made that up.
Does it run ChatGPT or can it make cool pictures with an AI?
Oh man, I wouldn't even want to put ChatGPT into a robot. That's when it becomes a cyborg and kills you.
You can make serial killers into Simpsons characters with the sex robot with ChatGPT or with Stable Diffusion, and then you talk to it with ChatGPT.
Well, there you go.
Make Vikings surrounded by stars.
That's right.
That look like oil paintings.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's another article on here. This guy, this is very similar to what we covered before, where you do have another computer that wakes up your computer. Remember that story about use the Raspberry Pi for a wake on LAN deal?
So why does that require another computer? Shouldn't Wake on LAN just do Wake on LAN?
Well, Wake on LAN, but
Yeah.
this is Wake on demand.
Yeah, wake on demand is how this guy set it up. So it's whenever the server is in demand for a service, it as soon as it gets to the request, it'll wake up. So he calls it wake on request is what he calls it. He said it was.
Not sure if there's a lot of difference between that and Wake on LAN.
It says he has a home server PC, which is the server. Mostly sleeps, wakes up on demand, wake on LAN, unicast packets, network services, SSH, AFP, and then the Raspberry Pi are similar. That's always on. That's kind of the go-between that he uses to wake on request his server. So
why is the Raspberry Pi required?
Because it is. What else are you going to do with that pie?
Well, he uses he said it says on the server enable wake on LAN with unicast packets, not just magic packets, and make it persistent. Set a cron job up to sleep on idle for the server. Configure network services.
Isn't that built in? What? Why do you need a cron job for that?
Are you looking at the article, or are you just asking me?
I'm asking you. Because you're the one that read this.
I'm the one that posted it. I didn't read it. Okay, the always-on device is the Raspberry Pi. It responds to ARP requests on behalf of another machine, ARP requests. Configure it to respond on behalf of the sleeping server. Anyway, you can read about this because I didn't read it. I'm just kind of scanning it. So there's a lot of steps here how to do this. Well, here it says, could the machine be configured to automatically wake upon receiving a network request? Our new Wake on LAN supported waking a computer up using a specially crafted magic packet, and it was straightforward to get this working. The question was if a regular non-magic packet could somehow do the same thing.
So why don't you just send the magic packet?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Like the only thing that seems to be of any interest is putting the thing to sleep. The server that you're waking up, putting it to sleep after and not being used for a while or whatever. Sleep on idle, yeah. I mean, if it's desktop, then a lot of times it doesn't. Well, if it's a desktop machine, then it wouldn't have a wake on idle already set up. Usually, only laptop machines have a wake on idle, I think, for battery consumption.
No, your desktops would also have the power management function just built in, so you can have your desktop shut down the same way you can have your laptop shut down.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, then I don't see what the difference is between just send the magic packet.
Well, you have to read the article.
For those pies.
You have to read the article. I don't know. There was a big critical article recently that spread waves across the Fediverse about the Free Software Foundation. Which, by the way, mordancy, have you talked to your friend that's part of the FSF that you met at the
OLF?
OLF?
No, Ian.
Ian, yeah.
He's friends with Hopper and
Oh, is he?
Ian. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think so. We all went out as a group at sushi.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a blog post by a programmer by the name of Drew DeVault titled "The Free Software Foundation is Dying." And this guy says it is not dying, and he lists all of the points that Mr. DeVault made, why it's dying, and he has counterpoints to them. One of the points was the organization's messaging is tone deaf, ineffective, and myopic, hammering on about GNU Linux nomenclature, antagonism towards our allies in the open source movement, maligning the audience as users rather than users. None of this aids the cause. The pages and pages of dense philosophical essays and poorly organized facts do not provide a useful entry point or reference for the community. Have y'all been to the Free Software Foundation's website? Now or later or before? It's weird.
Years ago.
He does have a point. It's kind of scattershot. It's got Stallman's journal basically. And how'd you stop recording? Or was that mine?
No, that was Honky's. I still had the notification up. Oh, now he started recording again.
What happened?
It automatically stopped recording after
keyboard.
2 hours.
Stop
Now
recording momentarily.
Now he's got to do some editing.
Yeah, that sucks.
He has a point about the website. At least I think if you look at the website, it's really weird. It doesn't really have like the message. They don't make it clear what message they're trying to get across. But this guy has different. He argues with them about why he's wrong. Basically, what everybody does on the internet, and it's kind of an interesting read. But I haven't really. To me, the FSF has always been like Stallman's thing. And I know there was the controversy with Stallman a while back, and they were trying to distance themselves away from him, or people were saying they should distance from Stallman. I don't remember what the controversy was about, kids or something. But
didn't he back someone that had been accused of grooming or something like that?
Is that what it was? I don't even remember.
No, he was arguing that if I remember correctly, he was arguing that their statements were inaccurate and needed to be rephrased because they weren't using the correct words to describe the situation.
What was the situation? Do you remember?
I don't even know what the situation. We were at OLF.
It was discussing like
right
age
when
of
that
consent
happened.
or something.
Yeah. Right before one of the OLFs, and there were several people there who had intimate knowledge of what was going on, and we had a big conversation. Most of them said, "Yeah, he's being." They're trying to cancel him for saying you need to rephrase this by saying you approve this. And then other people said there's behaviors that he has that are unacceptable at the university that he ignored. I don't know.
Okay, in September 2018, Stallman attracted controversy when he wrote on his website, "It is normal for adults to be physically attracted to adolescents," in defense of convicted sex offender Cody Wilson. Then there was the Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
Is that really normal though?
No.
for adults? But also, it's Stallman, who's, I don't even think he's a human being. He's like an alien, free software alien.
I thought he just had no filter.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't operate on the same frequency as human beings do. You got to realize that.
Stallman, in regards to Epstein had been with Virginia Giuffre, who was underage, and Stallman had said, assuming she was being coerced by Epstein, he would have had every reason to conceal that from most of his associates. Basically, what he was saying was that she asked for it. When challenged by other members of the mailing list, he added, it is morally absurd to define rape in a way that depends on minor details, such as which country it was in or whether the victim was 18 years old or 17. So Stallman questioned whether the word assault was applicable in the case, arguing that the most plausible scenario is that she presented herself to him as entirely willing.
That sounds not very good. But you also have to understand Stallman is never in a situation where he is surrounded by young co-eds that he is locked in the closet at all times. He doesn't even use the internet for email. He doesn't use the internet like a normal person. He uses wget to pull things down from the internet so he can read them on his laptop. He's not. I guarantee he's not the type of person that's going to go around molesting people or committing sexual assault. I don't even think he has sex organs to begin with. I think he's just a
what are you talking about? You know, women just throw themselves at him constantly.
Of course they do.
Physically, just tackle them, and right there in public on the grounds of MIT, and just tackle them.
There's a sickness, a mental illness some people have called Stallmanphilia, where they are attracted to RMS and they can't help themselves. Anyway,
yeah. I heard they have a little cure for that, though. It's a little shot you get, and you're all set.
Yeah, they have a vaccine for it now.
They have a little vaccine. That's right.
Is it 9 millimeters?
No.
45 caliber?
It's just a pair of regular glasses, so you can see what you're looking at.
No, because evidently he had an email chain, he had writings from 2013 related to underage sex and child pornography laws.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He has opinions about everything in the world, so he's going to have opinions about that as well, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure you've all heard me rant about, Piers Anthony.
I mean, the thing I could say about Stallman, he's not somebody I look to get my information of how to socialize with others or how to make friends or how to endear myself to other people. He's not who I look to for that information. He's who I look to when there's something going on with software, when there's something going on with the centralization of software power and closed source applications. That's the only thing anybody should ever look to Stallman for. You can look to him for your political opinions if you want, or social opinions, but be aware that if you express those ideas in public, you may be exiled from your community permanently.
We lose somebody?
Lost netminer.
Oh, we did?
Mm-hmm.
Fellow Jitzer.
Let's see.
Scry. Plot 6. What do you think about that little computer, MNT?
It's basically a Raspberry Pi computer.
A little chunky thing.
Yeah. I mean, you can build it. That's what I see there.
Made by a German company called MNT. It was the Reform laptop, a full-size computer with a full feature set and fully open-source design. Now they're back with the same value proposition and feature set crammed into a much more adorable and colorful package with the MNT Pocket Reform.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks cool.
Does it, though?
Yeah.
It looks
I
like
think it does.
It looks like the Pandora. Remember that thing?
Yeah. But for something you build yourself, it does look pretty cool. Still, it's a Raspberry Pi computer. Not that impressive anymore.
Is it a Raspberry Pi computer? No, it's not.
Well, still an SBC, and
a quad-core NXP IMX8M quad-core and 4 gigabytes of RAM.
It's probably not any more powerful than a Raspberry Pi.
Mini PCI card and M-key M.2 2800 slots on the motherboard for storage and connectivity.
Honestly, it'd probably be better if it was a Raspberry Pi, because then when the next Raspberry Pi came out, it'd most likely be compatible. Oh, okay. This one you can also set it up to run with compute card adapters.
Oh, really?
So you can use the Pi. Okay, it says here, this one will include the IMX8M Plus with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes eMMC, as well as possible small overclock. However, for the most part, alternative SOMs developed for big reform will work just as well, such as the Pi 4 compute card adapter. The caveat is that they need to support the correct display interface. For example, we were warned the substantially more powerful LS1028A module would need an adapter.
The display is pretty nice, 1920 by 1200 on a 7-inch screen.
Yeah, but if it uses the modules, then those are replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
I think they try to get a couple of generations that are the same connectivity.
It's I was trying to find the price on it. Did y'all see the price? Oh, $899 starting out.
Oh, damn.
$899.
Mm-hmm.
Screw that.
You probably won't be using it for gaming except retro gaming, it says.
Something like that should be like $150. That's why I always appreciated the stuff from Pine, because Pine was at least a lot more reasonable price-wise.
Yeah.
Purchasing options. Yep. The cheap one is $899.
That's nuts.
The same one in purple is $969.
It's got a little trackball, which is kind of cool.
Ooh.
It's got the same one. It looks like that. One GX has. Very similar.
What's a 1GX? That's what you have?
Yeah, my little mini laptop. Then,
I didn't know you had a trackball on that.
Well, it's not a trackball. It's a.
Oh, the connector is the same. Okay, I see.
Then the one that's $1,300 has a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD.
Why would you need that much space in something like that?
Wouldn't you? It runs a full operating system.
So basically, that thing would just be an SSH terminal.
Got a nice enough screen.
For what?
Watching movies. Watching the YouTubes.
Did you call it YouTube?
I said the YouTubes.
No, you didn't. That's very disrespectful.
Sorry,
once again.
that mustache just almost got me thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm. Very disrespectful again.
Very disrespectful. Every chance I get.
So, Danny, tell me about Linux Wave.
What about it? Oh, Linux Wave. Yeah, here's one that I've studied very thoroughly, so I could tell you about
it. we believe you.
Compose music from entropy and /dev/urandom.
So it's a CLI application, and they have binary releases, or you can build it. They also have Docker images. Oh, nice. So what you do is, in default mode, it reads random data from urandom to generate a 20-second music composition in the A4 scale and save it to output.wave. Or you can play it directly with MPV without saving. You can, say, use a certain scale, and it has options for scale. Read from an arbitrary file and turn it into a 10-second music composition. So you can do Linux Wave -I and then your name of your file, and then output it to a music.wave.
So it just generates random noises.
Well, that's just the thing. I haven't installed it, so I don't know. It has an option called -R, which generates calming music. Generate a chiptune music has an option for that.
Yeah, different definitions of what constitutes calming.
Generate boss stage music. Generate spooky low fidelity music. So if you look under usage, it has all the options.
Can it generate like death metal, or do I need to go to ChatGPT for that?
You can do scales.
ChatGPT
sets the frequency of the note, sets the sample rate, the number of channels, the sample format, the volume, duration, input and output file. So, yeah, that's all it is. It's a little CLI random music generator. Install this on the Mintcast, Joe, and then you can test it live.
I'm good.
Speaking of music, ChatGPT and all that, did you see that the #1 song on Spotify currently is an AI-generated song?
I saw that there was some controversy the other day and a takedown because somebody had picked an artist and said make a song that they would have made, and then they released it as said artist.
Oh, they did release it as said artist?
Yeah,
I didn't know that
but it got
part.
taken down right away.
Well,
it was Drake and something.
Yeah, Drake and The Weeknd, and it sounds just like Drake and The Weeknd. I think they may have just used AI to make their voices do text to speech, to sound like them, but then they created the music themselves, but just did the voices. But supposedly it was the #1 listened to song on Spotify for a little while.
Yeah, and then the implications of that are just insane. I mean, it's hard enough to get paid as an artist, from what I understand, anymore anyway, because your producers and everybody else just takes all that money that is incoming. Now, if you can just eliminate the artist entirely, then all of the money gets to go to the producers and the streaming providers or whatever.
Now think about this, though. Say you make this song that has voices that sound just like Drake and The Weeknd, and you make your own beat or whatever that's AI generated from scraping the web for songs. But you don't say that this is featuring Drake in the Weeknd. You just say this is a new song by so-and-so AI artist. Would there be anything wrong with that?
Just the fact that... Okay, now, I wouldn't have necessarily a problem listening to it, but I can see where it is taking money away from artists.
But then what about people that do impersonations? They don't get in trouble. As long as they don't say they are the actual artist, you know.
Yeah, they're not taking away from the artist because they're actually saying we're doing an impression, and this isn't trying to be sold as their song to make money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't even include their names or anything in it. Just say this is a new song by AI artist so and so, and that's the song.
But with the one, you're still having an artist, not like the original artist. You're still having an artist that is making money from it. With the AI, you're just having, the soul-sucking producers make money from it.
No, but I'm talking about from a legal perspective.
Hold on one second.
It shouldn't be illegal, right? What do you think, Honky?
I think there's no problem with...
Jackie wanted me to bring up deep fakes and selling the likeness of Bruce Willis in order to, continue to be able to make Bruce Willis movies. Now, I did read an article that said that was not what actually happened, but I could see that happening in the future if you wanted to sell your likeness or rent your likeness to a company and then let them do all the work. I could see that working, but then you still have to have a way to establish yourself.
Well, what if you just had a voice that happened to sound like one of these artists, right? See, I don't see a problem with it, to be honest.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, there's nothing different for as long as you're not claiming to be the actual artist. But
well, there is a thing that did come up in the news. It was on the national news this week about a family and an actor who had passed away about 5-6 years ago, and the family sold the rights to his voice to an AI, so they would continue to narrate books that he had already done some of the books for, and it would carry on with his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were using the AI to help put down all the audio and the media that he had ever done over his lifetime as an actor.
Now, what do you think about this song on Spotify that got all of the listens? That was like the #1 song on Spotify.
I never even heard it. I'm not a Spotify fan.
Oh, well, that's what we were discussing.
I like my metal and death metal and dark wave energy more. I was more excited that BMV Nation came out with a new single last week. So, there you go.
I'm with you. I really don't care.
I think it's fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. As long as you're not claiming to be the actual artist and, using their name as to get paid, then what is the difference between that and somebody that just happens to sound like them? What if your voice just sounds like that anyway, and you make a song, the artist can't come and say, no, you can't make this song. It doesn't, so what's the difference between that and AI?
It's definitely a legal gray area, but like I said, it's still an artist making money as opposed to just the producers cutting out the artists.
Right.
So before it was taken down, it amassed 600,000 listens on Spotify, was viewed 15 million times on TikTok.
Edward Herman, she says.
It says this video is no longer available due to copyright claim by Universal Music Group.
Apple. Now, I
don't think they have a case. That's not copyright. I don't see that as copyright infringement.
Yeah, it's not.
Unless they can try and prove that they sampled the voices from him or whatever.
Well, even then, you're allowed to sample, but as long as they say this, we sampled from here, here, and here, they're allowed to do that legally. Do they have to provide some money? Maybe.
like most of the whole music, trying to create or get money from music is a very gray area. Because you have people trying to fight for, the purchasing of music, and yet they give it away for free over the radio. And you can, growing up as a kid, you were able to just
making
record
money
stuff off of
from
the radio.
is something else entirely. It's like free and open source. But certain licensing, anybody can use it. But if you make money from it, then you need to contribute back.
Right.
I think that's the big issue here is the actual scraping of data. Like when GitHub came out with Copilot, they were basically using all of the stuff on GitHub to train Copilot, and a lot of that stuff was licensed under GPL and stuff like that. And there's certain restrictions that come with that. You have to release the code if you use if Copilot is using those programs to train its data set, and you use Copilot to write a program, are you bound by the GPL to release the code?
Should be.
That's kind of I think it's the building of the data models, which is why Italy banned ChatGPT because of privacy issues and scraping of data and stuff like that. I think that's the main thing.
Well,
what?
I think it would be more of where they're scraping the data from. If they're scraping data from places where they shouldn't be, then that's legal and icky. But if they're scraping data from just general stuff that's out there on the internet, it's out there on the internet. One of the things that people need to learn is, if you don't want your crap, if you don't want other people to see your crap, don't put it on the fucking internet.
No, everybody puts their albums on YouTube. That does not mean that they're free for everybody to use however they freaking want to. Granted, everybody can listen to them anytime that they want to, but it still belongs to somebody. There's still ad revenue involved in that, or there's supposed to be ad revenue involved in that. And then you have these bots that scrape for it, pull it, and then sample it, and then make more music from it. But if an artist, let's say Vanilla Ice, were to sample someone's music and then not give them their due, then they could potentially go to jail for a long period of time.
Well, the issue with the AIs, though, is they're not doing sampling. They're doing music in the style of, just like...
In the style of, which,
right, which is something that sounds similar.
Of, they had to sample in the first place.
Well, they had to scrape the data, but they're not replaying the song as it existed before. They're just doing a style.
And they're not doing a snippet or anything like that.
No.
They're doing in the style of, based on sampling from. So, that's the difference between a person doing it and ChatGPT doing it. ChatGPT will take a aggregate of all the stuff that it has sampled and then use that to amalgamate something that sounds somewhat similar. But it's still in its coding using in the back end the samples that it pulled.
Well, what's the difference between you listening to a song and making a new song that's in the same style?
I'm tone deaf.
Not you personally, but I mean anybody doing that. That's
no, I see what
thing.
You're saying. Yeah, it really is. It is, and then again, it isn't.
So
but
let me give you this scenario. What about cover bands?
Right.
Cover bands, okay, right? They're going up on stage. They're making money from playing other people's... No? The cover bands aren't okay?
And cover bands are perfectly fine when they're getting up on stage and performing. They are specifically saying, this came from such and such a band. This is not our original music. I mean, by definition, that's what a cover band does. And then, they're making money doing it. But
they don't necessarily go announce for every song and be like, "This is our totally cool mixture of Metallica's Enter Sandman." They just go up there and start playing. Usually, they don't usually announce it. They just kind of people figure it out on their own. But what if they did? What if it was a cover band? It was a Metallica cover
But they're not
band,
trying to
and then
say
they
that it's
made up,
their own.
and then they made up their own song, but they're doing it in the style of Metallica because they're a Metallica cover band.
You should look up the Bejeetles.
Or Hayseed Dixie.
It's a Beatles Metallica fusion cover band.
Beatallica.
Oh, Metallica, thank you.
What did you call it? The Bejeetles?
Bejeetles.
Actually, that's from the Bejeetles. Is actually from oh gosh, what was that cartoon? Phineas and Ferb.
Jim?
It was from Phineas and Ferb.
Oh yeah,
Which is why I got that mixed up.
So another thing to realize is that the laws in the EU and the laws in the US regarding public data are completely different. If you want to use public data in the US, there's really no issue with it. In the EU, if you want to use public data, you have to have consent from the person who's originally posted that data, regardless if it's public or not.
Yeah, and that caused some really, really stupid things to happen in regards to like reposting links to news.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the main reasons for that. Well, Facebook got in trouble for that.
Going back to my question is, if a cover band makes their own music in the style of the band that they were covering, is that different?
No, it's not. I don't think
and
it is.
because they are making money by doing a live performance.
Look. If ChatGPT were written by one person, then I would call that one person the artist.
But that's not the point he's making.
No, I get what you're saying there. But because it's owned by a corporation, I think it falls under different rules, and they really shouldn't do.
So it's not okay for a cover band to make new music in the style of the band.
I think it's perfectly fine for a cover band to do that.
Well, that's what he was asking.
Individuals.
But you don't think
was it a corporation who did the sampling to make this song that they then reposted it onto Spotify?
No, it was a guy named Ghost something.
That provided the sampling to ChatGPT.
No.
See, if Ghost,
but you can download you can run ChatGPT on your own computer.
Okay. Grapes.
These are cotton candy grapes. It tastes like cotton candy.
Sound delicious. Jackie likes your cat.
Buster's cool.
Yeah, but I think the ChatGPT thing and it creating music or creating art in general is just, it's a hard pill for me to swallow because it really is literally taking jobs away from people.
I don't think that at all.
So, okay, let's say that it doesn't take jobs away from people, and that artists are still artists, of course, and that musicians are still musicians. But it does dilute the market, especially in regards to, say, art.
Isn't the market already diluted?
Yes, but this will dilute it even more, because you can get ChatGPT to make something based on such and such an artist for essentially free, right?
So
such and such an artist can no longer get any type of commission or any type of higher commission, because if they try to charge a reasonable amount that allows them to eat, then they will be undercut by ChatGPT that does it for free.
Most artists who perform music make most of their money off of live performances, not over something that they've pre-recorded.
Okay.
Well, ChatGPT cannot perform something live.
Right. Oh, Jackie brought my cat out. Have you guys seen my cat before?
I know, we have a hard time with the background. We still have a hard time seeing it.
Hold on. I only have so many hands.
Buster, look. Look at the cat.
Select background, none, apply.
There's the kitty.
What's the look at the cat?
Last time we did it was CPAP talk. Now we have kitty talk. As the or yellow kitties are orange kitties, orange and white kitties sit there and talk to each other.
This is my Galileo.
Buster's not interested. He's more interested in what I'm eating.
He's trying to eat your grapes.
My cat is really interested in getting these scritches.
Yes, I believe most artists to tell you that they make most of their money from performing something live as opposed to recorded information. Yes.
Most musicians, but not necessarily, most artists.
Well, most artists have a hard time. So you have artists who create all sorts of things, and different people have their own version of whether they think it's great or not. And then you still need to bring it to if you really want to be a serious artist, you would have to bring it to a art show or a gallery, and then have people who are interested in that type of a thing show up and decide whether they want to pay for it. And that could be any sort of a thing. And again, the market is incredibly diluted with things like that. Where I've known many people
are still going to be cheap bastards, and so it's not really going to dilute the market.
Cheap bastards are cheap bastards, and people buy. The right people will always buy crap. But trying to get yourself into a spot where anybody can buy your crap is a difficult thing. I've known many very talented artists who can draw all sorts of things in very talented ways, but they're not doing that to make a living because it's an impossible thing to get into.
Right. You're $15 and $20 artists. The guys that are doing stuff on commission, that just don't make a whole lot of money at it, and they're the guys that do it for exposure. But
the problem is the exposure is there's not much of anything for an exposure.
Exposure's stupid.
Yeah,
exposure is a way of not paying someone for the work that they do.
And again, it depends on what you're trying to do, because where I live, there's galleries all over the place with you walk into, it's just nothing but garbage that somebody threw on a canvas and they're charging $2,000 for, and there are some idiots who will buy it, and there are other idiots who won't, because and getting into the gallery is the hard part.
Yeah.
Now, speaking to Honky's point about artists, there was a guy that recently won the grand prize at the Sony World Photography Awards with a photo that he created using AI, and they offered him the prize, and he refused it. And he told them, I used AI to create this photo. It's not a real photo, and nobody knew that. But he was.
Why would they care, though?
Because it's about photography, not artistry.
And this wasn't a photo that was taken with the camera. It was generated using AI. But he won the grand prize and refused it.
Personally, I don't care. But then again, I don't have the same standards that other people do. I think, I in my opinion, there isn't much of a difference between art and photography. So if it was created by an AI, I don't think it's any better or any less than something that was physically taken. I understand the amount of effort that was actually put into taking the physical picture as opposed to something that was auto-generated.
It's like bringing a motorcycle to a bike race.
Yes and no. I feel like that you still have. All right. Have you looked at some of the pictures that that we've been playing around and posting on Matrix? Some of it is okay. Some of it is just hot garbage. It is still, you have to figure out, you have to give it the right criteria. You have to get it to pull something together that's actually looks good.
It's
then you
hard
have to be able to,
the
whether
assignment,
you're physically, whether you're physically looking at something and snapping the picture, or you're drawing it by hand, or you're just I don't care if you're sitting down with Photoshop or GIMP and combining everything yourself to make your own picture. You still have it. It's still going to take a good eye to say, "Hey, that's a good picture."
No, that I agree with. But this was a photography competition,
right? And I understand that. That means that it had to be physically taken with the camera. I get that. I'm just saying, in my book, that there isn't much difference between somebody who takes a picture physically with a camera, than as opposed to somebody who actually created an image.
And
That's just me.
I'm all for automating every single job, all of them. Let all the manual labor in the world. Let's automate everything. But we also need some kind of universal income, and no hunger not being an issue, housing not being an issue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm just saying that if you want to auto-generate music, I think go right ahead. But you'd still, it's just going to create something that people can play over the airwaves. It doesn't mean something. Most people make money off of live broadcasts. If you want to automate creating pictures, give it a good source to scrape, and you still have to have a decent eye to figure out what actually looks good.
Well, what happens when we, use something like ChatGPT to virtualize a concert?
You'd have to do it really well, and then you'd have to give credit to the people who put that together.
Oh, there was a guy in the news
until
recently
it's all completely automated.
There's a guy in the news who tricked people to buy his nudes that were AI generated, and they thought it was a real woman.
Whatever. It made somebody happy, right? Does it matter whether it was real or not?
Somebody got the job done looking at them pictures.
Right? Does it matter that whether it was real or not?
Well, to me,
even when they're real, it's not real.
Why? So. You plan on meeting the person? I mean,
yes,
what would matter?
Exactly.
What would matter? This person.
No, you're not.
It doesn't matter.
Look, she loves me because I'm giving her money.
When you're watching Debbie Does Dallas from what was it, 1973?
You know the exact
or something like that. I have no clue.
You're the porn encyclopedia over here.
And
you
it's still
see your
doing the
face
job
hanging
for
in the background.
and the penises have sideburns. And you're watching that, and it still gets the job done. Are you still expecting to meet those people and actually be turned on by them?
Sure.
What I'm saying is, it would still require to be able to put together a live performance would take some sort of creativity on somebody's part, and you would absolutely expect it to not be the same as an actual live performance. You know, for you to have a computer generated live performance, you're gonna get something completely different versus something that you would get from a live performance. I mean, it couldn't. Could be the same thing as listening to it over a speaker.
Don't you think the technology could advance to the point where you wouldn't be able to tell the difference? Now, granted, it would obviously be different because a person going up there would make different choices. But if the AI was good enough, then you as a viewer would not be able to tell the difference.
The whole flesh and bones would kind of give it away, though.
I think he's saying if you're watching a concert like on a screen, not
or in VR.
Well, obviously, if you're doing that, you might as well just be watching somebody's video of the thing of the auto-generated thing in the first place.
Although I would, you never know what could happen with holograms eventually.
And then, if somebody tries to say that, that the performance was, it was basically just the same thing as recording, but with a person up there or whatever, then people who actually do live recordings need to, branch out like the old MTV Unplugged days or something. They have to get more creative.
But no, if you could start doing things like that, then how is a band going to compete when literally, if it were hologrammatic or if it were augmented reality, as in you had a pair of glasses and you could see reality and then you could see the concert overlaid with it, how the level of things CGI that they could put there would just blow anything from a regular concert out of the water.
If
I
that's what
will
you're
say
looking
that
for.
there are
It's
still
like
things
saying
that a live concert would be awesome for, but it still feels like it would take something away from live concerts and that experience.
It's like saying, but though you're talking about two different experiences here. You're talking about like the difference between I don't know, like the
But who
augmented
makes the
reality
money
being
then?
close to like a Michael Bay movie where it's just a bunch of explosions and special
Well, okay,
effects
Michael Bay
versus
sucks,
an
but okay.
actual like live
Going to a
concert.
play.
And again, if they really want to push the live part, you can go, like the MTV Unplugged style, where this is something you've heard 1,000 times, but it's going to sound a little bit different because it's actually live. That's why people used to buy live albums, is because it actually the live version sounded different than the pre-recorded stuff. But if you have a ChatGPT generated thing, it's not going to sound like a live version. It's not going to sound like a dude who initially played it with an electric guitar, now playing it with an acoustic guitar in a smaller, intimate environment. Granted, you could try and create the exact same thing in the exact same way, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, I guess people still go to plays.
Sure.
Like I said, I wouldn't mind if everything got automated and we could all retire tomorrow, as long as we actually had that kind of security.
That's not going to happen.
I'm aware. I live in Texas. It'll never happen. We'll be working until 6 months after we're dead.
Mm-hmm.
What happened today? Here, you know what?
Okay, so right now as Texas legislative, we only meet every other year. And a lot of really screwy bills happen. And the recent one is now all public classrooms, pre-K through 12, have to display the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think it's going to pass, though.
It passed.
It did pass? When?
This week.
Are
It's
you
on
sure?
the list. I think it's either that or it passed the Senate.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to, it would be struck down pretty quick.
The Republicans also own the House.
I think the Supreme Court would strike it down.
You think the Supreme Court would strike it down, but it's going to take time to get it there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting to see what the Church of Satan does.
Well, they also said that part of that same bill was that the schools had to set aside time for prayer and Bible reading.
Oh, there's that one too. And then the other bill that's going through that they're pushing is, okay, so you know how counseling in school has to be provided by a educator with a master's degree in psychology?
Mm-hmm.
They've made it the new bill is they don't have to, and they can hire a chaplain.
That's totally the same thing, right?
Apparently. So there's a whole bunch of them just working their way through that you're just like, I can't believe it. Several of the laws are being passed are against population size. So basically it hits Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, El Paso. They want to make it where we can't have county-wide voting anymore on election day. You have to go to your precinct. They are trying to get there will be no voting at colleges or community colleges or for early voting. Let's see. They are trying to raise bonuses for teachers, but they're not raising the bonuses for any of the support staff or paras and stuff that, already underpay heavily. So we live in Austin, we live in North Dallas, and the average para's pay is $18,000 a year.
Tell Joe that Cherry Hill Tony really likes y'all's cat. He just
Cherry
commented.
Hill Tony really likes your cat. The white one or my ginger?
He just said he saw your cat, and he said he would love to be on the Mintcast too.
Okay, I'll pass back to Joe.
Hello?
Cherry Hill Tony likes your cat, and he said he would like to be on the Mintcast.
Discord, get on there. Ain't nobody stopping you.
Discord? What's that?
The thing you got kicked off of for being a jackass.
Because they didn't respect my freedoms.
Freedoms to be an ass. Shouldn't have been harassing those little kids, man. That's how
I
you
didn't
get kicked
even
off.
do anything. I just showed them my mustache, and they were jealous, and they kicked me off
That's
of
what
there.
it was. It was pure jealousy.
I can't help it. Y'all like that Flipper Zero?
Yeah, I saw it. I've seen this article where they said that Amazon was banning it, and then that's all I saw on Amazon for like days was the Flipper and people selling the Flipper.
Really?
And then I keep seeing it on Facebook Marketplace, people selling the Flipper, and yeah, it's not really a credit card skimmer, isn't it? Just like a Wi-Fi analyzer or something crazy like that.
It's a portable multi-tool for pen testers, but Amazon has officially banned it now from their platform.
So unofficially, everybody's selling it now.
And they are calling it a card skimming device, but it doesn't have
a card reader.
Yeah, it doesn't have an actual card reader.
Does it have an NFC reader on it?
It does have an NFC
so.
reader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Infrared, Bluetooth, RFID, radio, and Wi-Fi.
How come
it has an
been
NFC
so much?
Reader?
But how come there's been so much crap around this little device? Wasn't there a bunch of like fake ones being sold a while back? That was a big deal for a while, and now it's a big deal because they're being banned from Amazon.
Well, it's been around for several years now.
I remember bringing this up on their show many years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Been around a long time now, yeah.
I mean, it's a cool looking device, but I didn't think it was, I don't know, anything worth that much talking about.
Well, I think enough time has passed where people have really exploited its uses to new things. Like they said, there's videos now of its capacity to activate doorbells, conduct replay attacks to unlock cars and open garage doors, and clone a wide range of digital keys. I saw one guy on YouTube open a safe with it, like a digital safe. Uses NFC.
Do you think this is just the guys who make the Flipper trying to get more, people to buy the Flipper?
I don't know. Amazon delisted it on their site. Can you find it now on Amazon? Let's see. Go to Amazon. Flipper Zero. Boy, it pops up in the search real quick. As soon as I typed FLI. They have the kits and the cases, but no Flipper Zero itself. Wow. Just for the little box. Flipper Zero field kit with box, low profile development board cover, and a cradle. So no actual hardware. $129.
Well, the full kit from Flipper is $170, but it's sold out.
Yeah, they don't have the actual device listed on Amazon anymore. But all of these things you could do with any device that had these capabilities. An NFC reader, they have those everywhere. That you can. They even have hats for the Raspberry Pi, So they're just freaking out because the Flipper has been, I guess, shown on YouTube a lot or been in the news a lot.
And yeah, there's other alternatives on Amazon that basically do the exact same thing. It's just they're listed as something else.
Look, here's a NFC reader and writer on Amazon.
You mean your phone?
Can your phone write NFC?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I buy like little stickers that are NFC stickers.
Uh-huh.
And then I use them to write like commands that my Alexa will understand. So, like, I can just run my phone over an NFC tag and turn off a light.
And you send the
Yeah, you write to the tag using NFC tools from your phone.
Oh, okay.
The application is called NFC tools.
So then what's up with the Flipper Zero that makes it so unique?
Nothing.
Well, the thing is that like the chips on cards and the NFC on cards, it's a little bit more complicated, and your phone is not supposed to be able to copy those and like resend out the signal for those. It does a different type of card NFC when it's reading out something to the different readers that it's compatible with.
Now, the official word from Amazon is the Flipper Zero. This product has been identified as a card skimming device. Amazon policy prohibits the sale or listing of card skimming devices.
I don't know if somebody's actually used this as a card skimmer. I do not know. Oh, but you can turn it into a universal remote control, which is awesome.
It has infrared.
And infrared learning.
Still get one from the maker's official store, which gets restocked regularly. So the ones on Amazon were being sold at a markup anyway.
Yeah, and this is way too expensive just to get it to be a universal remote. I mean, you can buy Alexa enabled universal remotes for like $10 on Amazon. I have one right here.
Says the Brazilian National Telecommunication Agency has been seizing incoming Flipper Zero purchases based on its alleged use by criminals.
Alleged. I have to wonder if this actually got used in the wild by anyone.
Like for an illegal activity?
For an illegal activity, yes.
I don't know. Do they sell lockpicking kits on Amazon?
They used to. I don't think they do anymore. Do they?
Yeah.
I bought one from AliExpress.
I bought one from Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, okay. In related news, Flipper Zero was also banned from Amazon for being a card skimming device. While the Flipper Zero reading the public NFC data from credit cards, it doesn't seem like it could do much more than what an Android phone could do with an NFC credit card reader app.
Well, how about that?
I still think it's the makers of Flipper trying to get some more exposure to Flipper.
Maybe. I mean, like I said, I saw a lot of people selling flippers.
Do you want one?
Not really.
No. $170 seems way too much for something like this.
Was that always the price, or did it go up?
I don't know. Don't remember.
Oh, it got banned because Linus Tech Tips put up a video 2 weeks ago. This makes hacking too easy. Here, I will put it into. There you go.
Okay.
That's why it got banned.
The original price was I don't know. I don't know now. What does it say on the shop? $169?
Yes.
Yeah, the shop says 169.
I saw this article from Wired. Oh, no. Okay. That's a recent one. I thought this was an old one. I was trying to find the original price, but I can't find it.
Joe, can you put that link in the show notes?
Link. Show notes.
Show notes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, here's the Kickstarter page. $119 was the original price.
Well, damn, that's a difference.
Probably before the chip shortage.
February 2021.
So no,
really,
not before the chip shortage.
Was the estimated delivery? Yeah.
Oh, when was it initially posted? Do you know?
No. Let's see.
2018.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm just joking.
Oh. I'm trying to see. I don't see anything that points out when it was originally posted. Well, they have a roadmap on here. Concept creation October 2019. Proof of concept February 20. Revision 1 release. First prototype April 20. Kickstarter OK2 tool released July of 2020. Tooling Flipper 1 R&D. Shipping February 21st. So they must have put the page up in October of 2019, it looked like. Oh, well, they have a picture here saying retail price $169 for the, if you buy it from the Kickstarter, you get it for $119, save $50. So I guess that was just the original Kickstarter price.
Alright, it's getting late, guys.
Yeah.
Bonky's yawning, I'm yawning.
All right,
I haven't commented on the mustache in at least an hour.
Yeah, you must be tired. You're not sexually aroused anymore. Maybe you need a Joe-bot to play with.
That'd be too much Joe in one spot.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, my.
Imagine two Joes.
Yeah, that's just about what everybody would say. Oh, my.
Is Joe frozen?
No.
Okay, it's just me then.
Sony backs maker of tiny Raspberry Pi computers with fresh funding, access to AI chips.
Visual sensory application using its Sony AI chips. Firm raised the cash at the same $500 million valuation. Wow. They want to compete with ChatGPT. Which there is a lot of open source models coming out now. Large language models.
So, they're actually backing Raspberry Pi? Oh, interesting. I mean,
They're funding them, yeah.
I didn't think that they had any issues with funding. It's always good to have more income.
Sure. Now, are they funding them with like straight money or with like chips?
It says the deal extends an existing manufacturing relationship between Sony and Raspberry Pi. A new partnership forged alongside the investment, so I guess it was cash investment, will see Raspberry Pi users and developers gain access to Sony's Atrios platform, allowing them to develop visual sensing application using AI cameras equipped with its IMX500 imaging sensors.
Okay. So it's money and chips to the that help them connect to the cameras.
Yes, so.
That's what it looks like.
What do you think about the moratorium on developing better AI?
Like the 6-month pause they're
Yeah.
talking about? I don't know. They're trying to come up with like rules and stuff, I think. How it should be used. I'm trying to fill in the notes here. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's that one. All right. You want to call it a night?
Sure. Before we do, was there anything else in the Reddit?
There were a couple things. I don't think anything looked overly interesting. GL hosting ban paves the way to privatized censorship. Raspberry Pi launches online code editor.
I might try
Already
that.
talked
It
about
looks
the
kind of
Clipper.
cool. That code editor.
Oh, and then I think we talked about Internet Archive on the last one.
Code
Internet
editor
Archive
is
is
for
back
Python.
end. Yeah, Internet Archive's a back end for a lot of stuff.
A lot of people host their podcasts on the Internet Archive.
Yep.
Yeah, Midcast.
HBR, Lugcast. I think, what's his name? Dan was saying that Tilts is on there now.
I like archive.org.
Yup.
But yeah, that's it. I don't see any other articles.
I wonder if Netminer was having audio problems or whether he just was bored by us.
As usual.
Poor guy.
He wants to talk about Liberating Johnson, and all we talk about is movies,
ChatGPT. Movies and ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
No CPAP talk tonight.
No.
All right.
I did get my 12-month supply of stuff for my CPAP machine.
That's good.
This Tuesday, I should be finally having my my sleep study that I should have had a while ago.
A long time ago.
Your first
As
one?
long as that. Well, no, I had a take home one, but now this time I have to go to the hospital to do a sleep study.
Remember, bring your sleeping pills.
Don't have any, but I guess I'm gonna have to get some.
Yeah, just anything, just like Advil PM or something.
Melatonin? Do you ever take that?
You should take both melatonin and Advil PM.
To be honest, most of the time I don't have any problem falling asleep at all.
Just because it's a strange place and you're going to have a bunch of crap strapped to your head and your chest. And yeah, I had a lot of difficulty sleeping the first time. And it's not something you want to have to, So
yeah,
if you have trouble taking or falling asleep after like 2 hours, then you take the pills. And then 30 minutes later, you're out like a light.
What if you could request something from them?
You cannot request anything prescription from them because the doctor is not going to be there to write you a prescription, and they're probably not going to have anything on site anyway.
Fistful of melatonin?
Well, they probably won't have that either. You need to bring your own.
They'll just give you a knuckle sandwich, knock you right out.
There we go. Whatever works,
You come back home with a black eye from the sleep study. It really put me out. Lost
Missing teeth.
Yeah.
Jackie says take a pair of headphones and something to cover your eyes.
Oh yeah?
That's what she says.
That's what she said.
Will they shut the lights off, or do they have lights on during old parts of it?
For mine, there was
it's a
there
strobe
was some light
that just flashes in your face the whole time.
But honestly, even if the room was well lit, it wasn't exactly going to stop me from sleeping. The stuff strapped to my head and yeah, was going to keep me.
The gel in your hair.
That's what I meant.
The electrodes, yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, the shower the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, leave extra time for the shower.
Got it. Well, I'll technically be on vacation. I just got to wake up with enough time to get home, drive the kids to the school or bus stop, and then I come home and just shower.
They had a shower at the place. I ended up using that one there because, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very sticky.
I want to read you this before we leave real quick.
Is it about your pan?
It's a recipe for a vegetable omelet that came with the pan.
Oh, my.
2 tablespoons of butter, 1 onion chop, 1 bell pepper chop, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 4 eggs, 2 tablespoons of milk, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and 2 ounces of shredded Swiss cheese.
You see, what we needed was Lugbot to read that out, so at least it would be somewhat, on the technology side of things.
This is
Actually,
technology.
You should have had Lugbot do the whole unboxing. That would have been
well, he's
more
still charging his batteries, so he cannot do that. But
all right,
I will give you an update next show on how great this thing is.
I'll be waiting with bated breath.
I'll make an omelet on the show. How about you like that? I'll do a cooking video.
You should just use it to make waffles.
Is it okay if I come on the Midcast and just talk about my omelet pan the whole...
Tomorrow's show, you absolutely can.
I'll even
or
do some cooking.
if you decide to be because I've done cooking on the Saturday show.
Did you explain what you were doing as you were cooking?
Well, yeah, when people asked.
Oh, you have to be like the frugal gourmet, and y'all remember that show?
Name alone.
I mean, I'm quite willing to go over whatever it is that I'm cooking.
Curly-headed old guy.
Is Saturday just on YouTube?
Yeah. The Saturday show, it's a lot like this. It's just us getting together and talking. We'll discuss the what we want for a topic for the Sunday show, but it's very free form, and we've ended up talking about politics, like stuff people really hate, stuff in the news, whatever we feel like talking about, we talk about.
There's no audio RSS version of it?
Nope.
Omelet pans.
If you want to come on tomorrow and talk about your omelet pan, let's talk about your omelet pan.
I'm going to an Earth Day festival called Earth X.
On the 21st.
No, tomorrow.
22nd.
What's tomorrow? 22nd. Yeah, 22nd. Today. No, it's
Today.
not 12 yet. It's 11:30 here. 12:30.
It's 12:30 here.
There. I got the handle on. I'm ready to do some omelets.
I was concerned.
Just gonna close it up like that. Open her up. Very
Probably
cool.
make some sausage in there too.
I'm telling you, Big Lots has some cool stuff sometimes. Anyways.
All right. Does anybody have anything else before we shut this thing down?
Now I want to go get an omelet pan.
Well, I bought the last one in the world. You can't have one.
All right. Our next recording date will be May 6th, 2023. Our music is Downright provided by Klaatu and Broam. I'd like to thank Delwin for the use of his mumble server. Finally, I'd like to give a special thanks to Father Finch, Phoebe, Dave Morris, and Tony Bemis for their help and support over the years. I've been your host for this evening, Honky Magoo. With us tonight has been Joe.
Yep.
Lovecraft.
Good night, everybody.
Minnix.
Have a good omelet.
And mordancy.
Good night.
Happy Earth Day.
Now mine are disappeared, and we have Cherry Hill Tony listening as usual. Hello, Cherry.
Night, Tony.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
But yeah, if you want to be on the Mintcast tomorrow, you have to be on Discord.
Fuck Discord.